This is our windshield survey on White Plains, New York. White Plains is located in Westchester County, New York, with a land area of 9.77 square miles. The population is just under 58,000 people. Westchester County has almost 1 million residents in total and is located 25 miles north of Manhattan. White Plains is a suburban city with urban vibes and has rural character but urban and suburban lifestyles. There is diverse land containing cities, villages, farms, forests, and towers.
As noted by the chart, Hispanics and whites make up a large majority of the White Plains population. The city is young, with a median age of 38, with 20% of the population under 18. In addition, education is important to the people of White Plains, as most people are high school graduates and almost half hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The life expectancy is high, with the average age of death at almost 80 years old. Therefore, the city of White Plains values health care as they are living long lives. In addition, only 15% of the population does not have health insurance. However, 19% of the adult population is obese. People who come to White Plains are not all from the United States. The three most common places of origins are India, Mexico, and Peru. This allows for White Plains to have diversity and brings culture into the city. The religion in White Plains is very diverse. Some of the religions there are Catholic, 3 different types of Protestant, and Orthodox. The community is lucky to have many different places of worship to have each citizen feel included.
The median household income of White Plains, New York is around $82,000. This is a very well-off and educated area, and citizens that live in White Plains need to make more money than, say, somebody that lives in Florida, where the cost of living is a lot lower there. It's a lot higher here in White Plains. White Plains tends to be more expensive when it comes to healthcare. Statistics showed that a visit to the doctor could cost them about 12% more than the national average, and medications being bought in White Plains are actually higher cost value of, say, buying them in Connecticut or in other states. White Plains also ranked 3rd in Forbes' most expensive U.S. cities to live in the past 10 years. So even though the median household income is higher, they spend more money by living in White Plains, so it could equal out to living in a different town in a different state.
The unemployment rate is high at almost 12%, especially compared to the national unemployment rate of 4.1% from this past February. Compared to New York City, the poverty rate of White Plains is lower at 10%. This has to do with the high income status of the city itself.
The 32 neighborhoods in White Plains contain just over 24,000 housing units. About 50% of people in White Plains own their homes and pay about $3,000 annually in property taxes. The housing selections are varied depending on city or suburban location, offering both house and apartment options. The homes in the suburban area are classic picket white fence houses with a median value of about $500,000. The neighborhoods are very well kept, remodeled with the times, and provide good, safe living conditions for the residents. It is said that there is a shortage of affordable housing in White Plains. However, they do have the White Plains Housing Authority, which manages 712 safe and affordable housing units and provides a voucher system for lower-income residents and families. The diversity of housing in White Plains is great for the city because it offers a wide range of living conditions for various incomes and stages of life, drawing in all sorts of people to the area.
For a small city, White Plains has a lot of open space, including small parks and golf clubs. Fenway Golf Club, Westchester Hills Golf Club, Silver Lake Preserve, and Westwood Park are just a few of them to be named. The parks provide intrinsic environmental and aesthetic benefit to the city of White Plains. They also increase the values of the properties within the town and attract future workers and home buyers. White Plains is only a 35-minute train ride to the city, so it's a perfect area for businessmen to have their families live so that their children can enjoy the parks that the town has to offer. Looking at the map of boundaries of the town of White Plains, you see that it's west of Connecticut and just east of the Hudson River. It's surrounded by a few different towns, which are included with North Castle, Harrison, Greenburgh, and the village of Scarsdale. Natural boundaries would be considered like lakes and rivers that could surround the town, and there's no natural boundaries that actually surround White Plains, even though it does have some lakes within it with certain parks. but there are physical boundaries such as the Hutchinson River Parkway and some railroad tracks that are on like the outskirts of the boundary line of the city. This is really good for people that live in White Plains because it is only a 35-minute express train ride to the city, so that promotes living there a little more for businessmen that have family and might have young kids. They get kind of the best of both worlds, where they can go and work in the city for a short ride and then have their families back home where there are a lot of recreational activities to do and a lot of parks to go to.
White Plains is considered Westchester County's premier business market due to its wide variety of malls and businesses like grocery stores, convenience stores, bars, law firms, and colleges and universities. Not only is this a city of business, it is a major residential neighborhood as well, with more than 3,000 residential units. It is viewed as a desirable place to live, work, and play.
Like I said before, the average commute to work is around 27 minutes, and it's just a quick ride into the city. This can be thanked due to the train stations that are there in White Plains, which include White Plains and North White Plains, and then also the Hutchinson River Parkway, which is on the boundaries of White Plains for people that have cars for traveling to work. There's also a senior shuttle, and that's the shuttle that transports senior citizens to places such as Stop and Shop, the farmer's market, and medical appointments. This would be a nice area for the elderly to retire as well. Due to that, the community of White Plains really allows a lot of extracurricular things to go on for the senior citizens and have a lot of amenities such as the senior shuttle. And then transportation is also like cars. It is a very prosperous and well-educated area. And like I said before, the median household income is about $82,000, so most families can't afford to have the cars. And actually, a majority of families do drive a car alone by themselves, as you can see in the graph. Another mode of transportation that is used in White Plains is buses. Westchester County has the B line, and over 65% of residents that live in Westchester County are within walking distance of a B line bus route, which makes it very easy and convenient for them to get on it. Also in White Plains, it's about less than a 1-hour drive from 4 of the major metropolitan airports, which include JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, and Westchester County Airport. This can also, like I said before, add benefit for people wanting to move there. It is very convenient living by major airports when you're traveling, even if it's just for vacation or for business.
From the young to the old, White Plains High School contains many different clubs and sports teams for the youth to get involved with. The elderly have the White Plains Senior Center to satisfy their needs. Along with this, White Plains has many recreation centers to keep the city active and healthy. The Westchester Mall is the biggest claim to fame of White Plains. This mall is the central hub to shopping in the city. Along with this, there are many other shopping centers around that allow for the needs of all citizens to be met. Many major corporations have also found their way to White Plains. Places like Pepsi, Snapple, and Nestle have all called White Plains their home in the recent years.
The initial population of 57,000 people in White Plains rises to about 150,000 each day, with many people traveling into the city through plane, train, bus, or car. The diverse area of cities, villages, farms, forests, and towers draws in many people from the surrounding areas. Weather and location dictate the people that you will encounter on the street, but they mainly consist of families, young adults, and businessmen and women walking to their jobs. Dependent on the weather, you can find people working in stores, shopping, or just visiting the area and touring. George Latimer is the Westchester County Executive. He runs a website called www.westchestergov.com, and this website contains a lot of information for residents and non-residents of Westchester County, including offices, departments, alerts, contact officials, meetings, volunteer information, and more. There are many opportunities on this website to get involved and have your voice be heard in the community, and there are lots of resources and information for people just looking to get more education on the area of Westchester County and their specific city in general. In the media, Westchester County and White Plains has 13 AM radio stations, 20 FM radio stations, and 25 TV stations for your viewing pleasure. White Plains is home to 11 hospitals with a 1 to 139 primary care provider to patient ratio. Westchester County itself has strong influences on health promotion and disease prevention, offering high access and prevention rates. healthy eating goals and promotion, exercise promotion, free Narcan training to citizens, free diabetes prevention classes, and emergency planning as well. The main issues of Westchester County and White Plains are chronic disease prevention and mental health promotion. Chronic disease prevention, they have a focus on childhood and adult obesity. They have a national diabetes prevention program and healthy corner store initiatives to reduce the rates of obesity. To promote mental health and prevent substance abuse because of the current opioid epidemic, White Plains has taken part in putting medication lockboxes around homes and houses, take back programs for unused medications, and providing education to children and adults about the opioid epidemic. Other top problems of White Plains include coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, pneumonia, acute MI, diabetes, and opioid use. The Westchester County Department of Environmental Facilities supports elimination efforts by promoting reduction of waste. There are mandatory recycling laws and curbside recycling programs put in place to keep garbage off the streets and reuse some materials. This is just one of the ways that White Plains remains so clean and healthy. White Plains has recently put drug disposal collection centers in place to assist with the opioid crisis and help keep drugs off the street and away from the environment. These efforts help the health of the city as well as the health of future generations to come. White Plains works closely with the Salvation Army, Goodwill, and Wheels for Wishes to recycle used clothing and automobiles and to reduce waste and help those in need. The Westchester County Water District supplies drinking water to White Plains residents at a cost of $7.88 per 1,000 gallons of water. This water comes from the Catskills and Delaware and is mainly collected from rivers, lakes, streams, ponds, springs, wells, and reservoirs. White Plains is also proud to have electric vehicle charging stations to support Go Green efforts by residents with electric cars. Top communicable diseases seen in White Plains consist of pneumonia, influenza, and Lyme disease, and there are efforts in place to reduce the rate of disease and spread infection, including education for citizens and the yearly flu vaccines.
The people of White Plains have the opportunities to have a lot healthier of nutrition and metabolic patterns. They do have a high yearly income for the median household, so families do have the money to afford healthier food options such as fruits and vegetables, which tend to be more expensive. The stores are very accessible with the transportation that the citizens of White Plains have through the trains, the highway being so close, the senior shuttle, and then the Beeline shuttle service. And then there are also a lot of nutritionists and dietitians practicing in White Plains, which gives the citizens opportunities to go and see actual nutritionists or doctors on how they're doing and how they can do better with their nutrition. And there's also nutrition programs going on for senior citizens in White Plains, which is another one of the amenities that the senior citizens get to have while living there. The citizens of White Plains have the option to live a very active and healthy lifestyle. There's many different gyms in the area, including Lady of America Health Club, Gym Source, the YMCA, and Orange Theory Fitness, which is a new fitness center that's also located within Connecticut. And there's also a silver sneaker program at the YMCA for seniors, and they can most likely take the senior shuttle there. And it's programs at the YMCA that are offered for the elderly. And the high school promotes activity and exercise through after-school sports. The after-school sports include basketball, field hockey, soccer, football, and many more sports as well. A lot of times with field hockey at least, it's such a limited sport where a lot of schools don't offer it that the players are so good that they can go on to the college level. There's also a lot of parks in White Plains that people can go to and exercise there as well.
White Plains has a vibrant downtown section with nightlife and bars. Therefore, this section is not a quiet part of town. However, the residential areas are more quiet and allow for a slower lifestyle. Most businesses are not 24/7, but places like pharmacies, urgent cares, and hospitals are. The city of White Plains offers many resources for every member of the community, so each member is sure to find something that they love. There are always events going on, and just from a quick search, I found upcoming folk dancing, fairs, and a volunteer event involving a river cleanup. As mentioned throughout this presentation, White Plains has a high income rate. Therefore, most citizens living and working here have a high level of education. In addition to this, White Plains is a city with many jobs that require employees to have a college degree. White Plains contains 15 schools ranging from pre K to 12th grade and one 4-year college. The graduation rate for high school is high, at almost 87%. The city has a large population of both Hispanic and whites, and therefore the languages spoken are both English and Spanish. There is a large nightlife scene in the city consisting of restaurants, bars, and stores. This seems to be where people socialize, especially on the weekends. The mayor of the city is Thomas M. Roche. The citizens of White Plains liked him so much that he was able to be reelected for his second term just this November. Some of the most common jobs held in White Plains are in the categories of management, sales, administration, and cleaning and maintenance.